Hello, it's K, the voice of reason here with another video. Today we're looking at a very famous man of God in Ghana. His name is Nicholas Duncan-Williams. He really needs no introduction. And we're going to be looking at whether he's a man of God or an expert con man. Now, I've always believed that in Africa, the biggest gangsters are these men of God. If you if the FBI comes to Africa and is looking for the biggest criminals, the biggest bandits, these men of God, they are robbing the poor, they are robbing the masses, and these are the guys that you should be looking for. So today, let's get into it and and see what we're going to discover. So this video will form part of a series called the Church Bandits. Like I said, these men of God, some of them are the biggest gangsters you ever find, and they are out here robbing even like your grandmother, your the blind, the poor, the sick. These guys are robbing all of them, right? So this video would examine some of these so-called men of God, especially controversial ones, and then we're gonna try and dissect their actions and see whether they're true men of God or not. Okay, so let's get into this one straight away. Right, Duncan-Williams, the man who famously commanded the city to rise. Uh, you know this guy. And what is this video about? I heard last year somewhere that he was claiming that his fingers, he lost three of, as you know, his three of his fingers on the right hand are missing. And he was in an interview with Bolore, and he was questioned as to how that happened, and he was saying that he lost it by placing his palm on a burning candle. Now that don't make sense to me. I don't know about you, but you can't really burn fingers to ashes using a candle, right? You can't burn through the bone. So let's examine what he's saying and see whether it makes any sense at all. Right. So why does it matter? Why do I care? Why does KE, the voice of reason, care whether this man is telling the truth or not? Because at the end of the day, his churches are failed. He's got way more money than me and my whole family combined. Why does anyone care? Well, you have kids sitting in this church every Sunday, right? You have even presidents who listen to this man. He's an influential man in the country, and if he's lying, then it matters, right? If he had come out and said, look, this maybe I was an arm robber, whatever, and my fingers got chopped off, no one would care because we know that you've changed your life and you've moved on. But if he's still making a claim which doesn't make sense, then there's a cause to be concerned here, and I'll explain to you why I think he's lying. Okay, what does he claim exactly? Okay, so he says that one fine evening, Nicholas was just sitting in his room, and an evil voice said to him, place your palm over the burning candle. So he did that, and then the candle burned off three of his fingers to ashes. Three of his fingers on the right hand to ashes. Then after that, he was taken to the hospital where he spent 4 months recovering. Okay, this is what the man of God claims. Okay, so why is he probably lying? Okay, think about this carefully. Okay, put your religious mind to the side for a minute and think about this. Does this make sense at all? Look, it will take you more than 5 hours to bend three of your fingers with a candle. Okay, if you light a candle and put three of your fingers on it, think about what's going to happen. If you've ever grilled meat in your life, you know that the juices for the meat, your fingers contain water, blood, whatever. These juices are going to start dripping, and they're going to be dripping onto this candle, and the candle is going to be out in less than a minute. Okay. Now, even if the candle doesn't go out by some mysterious supernatural phenomenon, it will still take you 5 hours to bend one finger after the other, and even with that, you still are not going to be able to bend through the bone. Any of you who knows about cremation, right? Those who burn their bodies when they're dead. In the crematorium, the temperature that they have to use is ridiculous, and it has to be sustained for over 2.5 hours to bend a whole body. And even with that, it doesn't bend the skeleton. They have to take the skeleton out and physically crush it in a crusher, in a different machine, and then they pulverize the skeleton to create that what you call the ashes. It's not actually ashes; it's a pulverized skeleton. Okay, sorry. So that's what really happens. So you cannot bend through the bones in your fingers with a candle. That is just ridiculous and it's plain stupid. Okay, so that's the first thing. Now the second thing that makes me a little bit concerned is that he's given two accounts. I've had two interviews he's done on two different radio stations. One of them was with the Bolare and the other was on Joy FM. And in those two interviews, he's giving separate accounts. In one interview, he says, "Oh, when his fingers were burning, his lips were sealed, so he could not scream." I mean, think about it. Your fingers are burning, you can't scream, right? Because he was under this evil, whatever. So his lips were sealed, he could not scream. So the watchman smelled the smoke from his burning flesh and came and broke down the door with his dad and his brother, and they rescued him, right? But in another interview, he says, well, the pain was so excruciating that he screamed for help and people came to rescue him. So did you scream or did you not scream? Archbishop, are you the Archbishop of lies? Why can you not be consistent with your story? Is it because you're lying? We need some answers, okay? So I'm going to actually play these conflicting interviews for you to hear for yourself so that you don't think KE is just making these things up and he's just, trying to hate on this man of God. I don't hate on anyone, but when I smell fish, then I know something is fishy, okay? So let's listen to the first audio.
And the voice said to light a candle, and I had it in my room on my table. So I lighted a candle. Then the voice said, place your right hand on the flame. And I did. And it was like I was captured and overpowered when I placed my hands on the flame. And the voice said, don't take your hands off till I command you to do so. And it was as my lips were sealed. And I lacked the power and the ability to resist the influence and the power of the voice and to take my hands off. And the pain was unbearable to the point that I had to scream for help. And not too long after that, they broke the door and came to rescue me. But by the time they came in, I've lost all these things. Everything was gone, and I had to be admitted at Kolebu Ward H for 4 months and had all kinds of encounters there. It was there I had an encounter and got saved and got born again.
So you heard for yourself what he said, yeah? He said that he had to scream for help, didn't he? All right, so now let's go to the second interview. I think that's what he did with Bolare. And you hear that he said that he could not scream.
I was hearing voices.
Was it as a result of the marijuana, or you thought there were some demons after?
No, that was what that is what the psychiatrists and medical science would say that it was the marijuana, but these were voices like I'm hearing your voice.
Real voices.
Yeah, real voices. In my room, and a voice commanded me to light a candle. In those days we didn't have standby generators and things at the upper residential area, and the voice said light a candle. So I lighted a candle. And then the voice said, place your right palm on the flame.
At the time, you had gone into smoke, or?
No.
You hadn't done that. You were just hearing voices?
Yeah, I heard voices. And then the voice said, keep your hands on it till you are commanded to take it off. And my lips were sealed. And I couldn't take my hands off, and I was in pain. And the flesh would open up, and then the bones would pop out. And yet I couldn't take my hands off, and it was going on. And I think the watchman smelled this smoke. So he rushed.
Was it in the night or in the afternoon?
It was in the night. So he rushed to call my father and my brother, and they came in and they broke the door down and rescued me. So it was that time I came to myself. And then my father said, what have you done to your right hand? So it was at that point I realized that something had happened to me. And then I went up. I was in between two wells.
But Archbishop, it was an excruciating pain. You were in pain, but you couldn't take off your hand.
No, I was in pain and my lips were sealed. I couldn't open my mouth. I couldn't cry for help.
Okay, listen.
And the pain was unbearable. And I was holding my hands like this, and it was burning. And I couldn't take my hands off. And now I understand what it is. It was a demonic command.
It wasn't any demonic command. It wasn't a demonic command. Look, this is the same man who tried to command the CD to rise, and we all know where the CD now is. So he's probably lying. Okay, he's probably lying. So you heard for yourself the two conflicting accounts that he's giving, and they will be conflicting because it's a lie, right? You normally, when you try to fabricate a story, you cannot remember it exactly when you tell it over and over again. Okay, and that's what happens when you're lying. So yeah. So you should make up your own mind. Okay, whether you think he's lying or he's not. We think he's lying, and it's unfortunate because he could have just come out and told us exactly what happened, and no one really cares. As long as you've moved on with your life, you've moved on with your life, right? But sometimes people like this, they just, it's in their nature to lie, right? The same way he lied that he's gonna command the city to rise, when he knew where it was. For a man who handles so much money, he knows a bit about economics. He knows that you cannot command the city to rise, but he still told his people because they kind of enjoy, letting the masses be fooled, and trying to make everything spiritual, everything mysterious. That's the kind of, they almost kind of taking the masses for a ride. They think, oh, these guys would just lap it up. They would just believe everything I tell them. They're so stupid, and that's how they think. They're sociopaths, some of these people. So yes, thank you for listening in. If you like our videos, obviously you can follow us on social media. We are on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and obviously we're on YouTube. So try and like, share our videos, and most importantly, subscribe to the channel. And please, just if you have any comments, just leave it in the comment section, and we will respond to it. Thank you very much for listening. Once again, it's KE, the voice of reason. I'm out.